Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah. Let me first seize this opportunity to pass my deep and sincere condolences to the family of Professor Mohammed Yaichi. We pray Allah to forgive him and accept him in paradise and to compensate us for this loss. Due to the overwhelming spread of coronavirus and the fact that the healthcare authorities advised us to stay at home, and we are at it, let's take this as an opportunity to make out of this lockdown time an occasion to make more productive our portfolio concerning research, learning, and teaching. This video lesson is concerned with English clauses, mainly part B, which is adjective clauses, because we have seen in class with students noun clauses. Okay, we are going to revise this first part and then we move to the part B, which is adjective or adjectival clauses. Sometimes in some sources you will find also relative clauses. So it is the same, by the way. Adjective clauses, adjectival clauses, or relative clauses. In matter of function, it is the same. Okay? All of them are initiated by relative pronouns or relative adverbs. We will see this afterwards in details. Now, before going through deep analysis of clauses, let's be back from general to specific. Let's be back to the first courses of language, general linguistics. By definition, language expresses thought. Underline thought. Okay, so we think and then we express our thought through either the spoken form in utterances or in the written form via or through sentences. But there are different situations. Let's say necessity is the mother of invention. When we communicate, we do not communicate because also by definition language is a means of or a system of encoding, decoding messages. So the message must be clear in addition to the rule or the principle of the tacit agreement between people or language learners or language users. We communicate not through the building block of the language, i.e., or in other words, words. We know that words are the building block of any language, but when we communicate, we do not communicate with isolated words, but rather with sentences. We have seen in semester 1 the different patterns. Okay, 11 English patterns. They are set based on different situations, different images. Okay, and we have seen afterwards the different types of sentences. There are simple sentences, and there are compound one, complex one, and compound complex. Why all this? This is necessary to convey specific ideas and specific thoughts. So we cannot keep on with using just simple sentences. So what about clauses now? Clauses are the main or the minimal structure in language. They must have at least one subject and one predicate, between brackets, predicates to be accurate. Okay? We used to say SVO, subject verb, because sometimes it is not a verb but rather a linking verb. So to be more precise, we've got to say from now on subject, predicate. Okay. So noun clauses are divided into different types. Broadly speaking, clauses are divided into two main parts, broadly speaking. Okay? Dependent and independent. Dependent clauses, okay, cannot stand by themselves. They depend on another clause, which is the independent clause. So the independent clause is what we call in another area the main clause. Let's consider these two sentences. First, we were children. Our parents punished us very seldom. Let's analyze. Subject, we. Verb or predicate, children. Subject, complement. Okay? This is a linking verb here. Verb to be here is a linking verb. Our parents, okay? Subject and predicate. So, both sentences fulfill the basic requirements of a sentence. Subject and predicate, at least. Clauses fulfill these two basic requirements, subject and predicate. The difference between a sentence and a clause is that the sentence expresses a complete thought, an idea, a thought. That's why I have already said underline thought. But a clause can express a complete thought and cannot. So this is the main difference. But we communicate through sentences and not clauses. But we are studying clauses. What for? We need them. At least in order to give extra information or to describe a word in a clause, and when we link between two sentences to express a given image or a given situation. Back to our sentences. We were children. Okay. It is a statement, a declarative sentence. We were children. Now we are no longer children. Okay. Subject, predicate, complete thought. There is an idea. Our parents punished us very seldom. Subject, don't bother with determiners and pronouns, okay? Possessive pronoun. Parents punished us very seldom. Not any parents, but our parents. Subject, predicate, and a complete thought. Oh, lucky. Your parents punished you very seldom. Okay. But here we have two isolated sentences. If we want to express a given idea, let's take an example that I want to say that the time we were children, our parents punished us very seldom. We were lucky and we were not naughty. Here we link between the two sentences. Look here. A new sentence, a combination of both sentences. We can do this. When we were children, our parents punished us very seldom. We can also, regardless which type of clause is this, we can also start with our parents punished us very seldom when we were children. And here we do not punctuate. When we were children, our parents punished us very seldom. We combined between the two sentences to express a given idea. Here we've got two ideas separated, but here there is a combination of both sentences to mention time, to express time. So our parents punished us very seldom. When? When we were children. Or when we were children, our parents punished us very seldom. Clear? So here we have a complex sentence. It is composed of two clauses. This is clause 1 and this is clause 2. Now we are going to analyze which one is the main or the independent that can stand by itself and which one is the dependent that cannot stand alone by itself. If I say, when we were children, well, here we were children. Oh, yes, I know that you are no longer a child. Okay? We were children, but now we are adults. But when you say, when we were children, When we were children, there is no complete thought. The listener or the reader is waiting for something else. Yes, what happened when you were children? When we were children, our parents punished us very seldom. So this is the independent clause. Independent clause. Which type doesn't matter, because normally this is an adverbial clause. But it is a complex sentence composed of two clauses. First, independent, and second, dependent. Independent, yes, and the dependent. The dependent clause, and here the independent clause. This can stand by itself alone. Our parents punished us very seldom. No change. What's wrong with this one? This was affected by, as I used to say, the virus. That's why it changed its status. It was a sentence, but here, by adding this virus when, okay, the subordinator, okay, it has become a clause instead of being a sentence. So it is a clause. This one is also a clause. Why? Because there is a dependent clause together with. The whole is a complex sentence. So we had two separated simple sentences due to necessity to express a given image, okay, which is time. We combined between them. The combination led automatically to the fact that one of them is weakened. It has become a subordinating clause, and this one main clause. Clear? Okay, let's carry on, always with the clauses. Let's move straight forward to this point, because we have already explained this too with the examples on board. The independent one, the independent clause, can stand by itself to form a simple sentence. So when we have the main clause alone, okay, if we want to separate between them, the main clause or the independent clause will automatically construct, or the outcome will be a simple sentence. Okay. On the other hand, the dependent clause, okay, on itself will become a sentence fragment. So the sentence fragment has to choose either to be with an independent clause to form a complex sentence, or to get rid of the virus, the subordinator, we omit the subordinator. If we do not omit the subordinator, we will have a sentence fragment. I repeat, when we were children is a fragment. Sentence fragment. We were children without one, when is a simple sentence. Okay? So, the main clause can be alone to form a simple sentence. Our parents punished us very seldom, or can be with another dependent clause to form a complex sentence. So the combination of both clauses gives us a complex sentence. Now, main clauses versus subordinating clauses. The main clauses hold the main idea expressed in the sentence. Okay. If we have a complex sentence which is composed of two clauses, subordinating clause and a main clause. The main clause is the verb clause. Regardless, the subordinating clause, which may be a noun clause, an adjective clause, or an adverb clause. The main clause, once again, holds, or the main clauses hold the main idea expressed. Okay? And the subordinating clause gives more clarification, okay, or extra information. The subordinating clause, our scope of study, are divided into three categories: noun clauses, adjective clauses, and adverb clauses. Noun clauses. This is just a revision, okay, because we have already seen this in class. Noun clauses are dependent clauses that function as nouns in a sentence. You must have seen in the course of parts of speech that the four main ones are verbs, actions or states, and nouns, then adjectives and adverbs. Afterwards come pronouns, prepositions, okay, and so forth. Noun clauses, a clause acting or functioning as nouns in sentences do. This means that the clause, the noun clause, is going to function as, or is going to take the function or the functions of nouns in sentences. Generally, there are 8 functions of nouns in sentences. We bother with the function. What is the role of nouns in a sentence? What is the role of a noun in a sentence? A noun can be a subject, can be a complement, can be an object. We will see this in detail rapidly. Since our video lesson is devoted to clauses and not nouns, noun clauses is the equivalent of somehow in Arabic analysis of sentences, i'rab al-jumal, something similar to. So noun clauses are derived from the following situations. Back to concept, thought, and situations. There are different situations categorized into 3. A category of noun clauses answer information questions. Here we use question words. Okay? Question words. When we are dealing with a situation to answer information question, the information is not there. Example, when you say, we call them information questions and question words. We do not say WH questions. Okay? Information questions, because the information is not apparent or mentioned in the question. Example, where do you live? I'm looking for a piece of information concerning the place you live in. If I say, do you live in Adrar? The answer is here, Adrar. Here you answer with yes or no. Yes, no question, information question. But in the first one, where do you live? It is information question. In this situation, we use question words. Second situation, to give statement. Here we use that or the fact that to state something. Third, we have seen this deeply in class, by the way, to express uncertainty. We use whether or if not of conditional here. Okay? Here also we added in class concerning that or the fact that the subjunctive mood. Okay. Noun clauses are introduced by the following subordinators. All noun clauses have to be introduced or initiated by one of these, okay, subordinators. Now we move to the function of noun clauses within sentences. Noun clauses as a subject of the sentence. Example, what she did pleased some friends. What is the subject of this sentence? It is the whole noun clause, what she did. A question word, what, subject, and predicate, the verb. So this is a noun clause initiated by a subordinator question word, what. What she did. But it is not a question, it answers a question. What she did pleased some friends. Here, the whole clause, the whole main clause that is written in red is acting as the subject of the whole sentence. So, what she did, her action, for example, or it, pleased some friends. So here, the whole clause is acting as the subject of the sentence. So it is a noun clause, a subject, okay, of the whole sentence. Following, noun clause as subject complement. Look here. The question was subject, predicate, verb. What about this? Whether uncertainty, okay? Whether they were for or against the idea. Here, this noun clause initiated by whether is acting as the subject complement. It is in matter of grammar or syntax, it is functioning as a subject complement of a subject complement of the subject. The question. What is the question? The question is whether they were for or against the idea. So the whole clause is acting as subject complement. It completes the meaning of the subject. Number 3, noun clause as a direct object. Direct object, okay, after a transitive verb. The authorities discussed why people should respect the quarantine, the stay at home. So, this, what is written in red, why people should respect the quarantine, is a noun clause. It is initiated by why, okay, for reason. It acts as a direct object of a verb discussed. The authorities discussed what? What did they discuss? They discussed the reason why people should respect the quarantine. So the whole clause is acting as a direct object of the sentence. Number 4, noun clauses as indirect object of the sentence. I gave great consideration. Great consideration is the direct object. Now, we have that you wanted me to travel with you. Here we stop. This is the noun clause acting as an indirect object of the sentence. Following, noun clauses as objects of preposition. Here there is another object, but object of preposition. So there is a preposition on. My friend did not concentrate on what? On what I was saying. So this noun clause is acting as an object of preposition. So object of preposition. And not just objects. Following, number 6, noun clauses as object complements of the sentence. Example, you could term the revolution whatever you feel comfortable with. This noun clause is acting as an object complement. Its role is to complete the object. The object here is the revolution. You could term what? You could term the revolution. Could term the revolution whatever you feel comfortable with. Okay? So this is a noun clause acting as a complement of the object. So we have seen so far subject, object, and complement. Last but one, noun clauses as appositive of, should be separated here, okay, typing mistake, of the sentence. Example, one fact cannot be disputed, something that you cannot discuss or counter-argue. What is it? That COVID-19 is threatening all mankind. So this noun clause is an appositive. It is an extra information. Number 8 and last one, noun clauses as adjective complements. So my son was confused. This is an adjective, okay, or okay, why I had taken such severe measures. This is a noun clause. What is its role in the sentence or its function? It is to complete the adjective. Okay, the adjective confused, was confused. Okay, predicate adjective. Clear? Let's just correct this typing mistake. Positive. Okay, and objects of prepositions also in red. Now we come to the end of noun clauses. You've got to pay attention to these 2 points. Word order in the noun clauses is always, whether declarative or interrogative form, doesn't matter, is always that of the declarative sentence. Look here, this is a question, isn't it? It is a question, isn't it? Yes. Do you remember who the first elected Algerian president was? Okay, but there is no subject-verb inversion. Do you remember who was the first elected president? No. Do you remember who the first elected president was? So who the first elected president was is the noun clause. Okay? Here we do not put subject-verb inversion. We respect that or the order of the declarative sentence, even though it is a question. Okay? So, following point is that can be omitted in noun clauses as objects or adjective complements. Look at this. Let's consider these 2 examples. He supposed that I would fail the exam. We can omit that here, and the sentence will be acceptable and conveys a complete thought. He supposed I would fail the exam. Okay? Why? Because he supposed that I would fail the exam is functioning as an object of suppose. Supposed what? Suppose that I would fail the exam. So since it is, or the noun clause is an object, functioning as object of the sentence, that can be omitted. Second situation, that clause functioning as adjective complement. I was certain that he was able to challenge the situation. That here, or that he was able to challenge the situation, is a noun clause functioning as an adjective complement. It completes certain. So it can be omitted too. I was certain he was able to challenge the situation. Fair enough.